Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Hello, German. How are you doing today? I have revised my trading plan, and I'm going to go over it in just a minute here. The first thing is select call and put strike prices at the money at 9:35. This had said 9:32 before. Oh, why do I have a highlighter there? Well, actually, I can highlight it. It's fine. I made it 9:35 just so I would get 3 extra minutes to sleep. I'm just kidding. I just like round numbers, so 9:35 is good for me. If there is a buy signal or doji at 9:30, avoid trading. That has not changed. Check support and resistance lines using the suppress indicator. That has not changed. Start looking for a trade at 9:36. That has not changed. Trade only after the awesome oscillator is below zero and green, and there is a 5-minute green candle. Okay, this has changed. And I want to tell you why. I noticed that with the 15, I use all my charts are in Hikinashi candles because I just think they look better and it's easier to read. I found that the 15-minute candle that I was looking at in the SPY and the VIX, that was okay, but it really wasn't helping me that much. So I decided to ditch that one, and I'm looking first at the awesome oscillator that it's below zero because that's the most important thing. The awesome oscillator has like a lifespan, or I should say the trade has a lifespan, and that lifespan is at the bottom with the green candle going all the way past the zero line to the top, and then it starts turning red again. So that whole green part that you have in the awesome oscillator, that's like the lifespan. So what I want to do first is select call and put strike prices at the money. It's 9:36, so we're a minute behind, but let's do that. It's so easy to do this too. You come up to the, I'm in the charts tab. You come up to the down arrow at the symbols table. You click options, then SPX. Okay, and I want the first purple bar. And right now, in looking at this, I'm going to say that if it goes beyond that high, I'm going to want to buy this one. Now let's go directly across. Okay. If you look at the puts, they have gone completely through this overnight low, which is the white dotted line. That's very bearish. So the fact that here they have gone up through the overnight high, that's bullish. So what I'm going to do is set a, let's see here. A buy limit order. Okay, and I'm going to, it's gone beyond that, so I'm going to get 2 contracts. And I'm going to come up here. The next thing to do is, and by the way, this wasn't below the 0 line. However, when it is above the 0 line, if you go past that first candle, which it did, that'd be a good place to get in. And now, let's see, let me go to the next step. Okay, so we checked the support and resistance lines. We started looking for a trade, and we made a trade. We traded only after 5-minute green candle. Well, there was a 5-minute green candle, but this is one of those things, like I said, it's an exception to the rule. It's an anomaly. So anytime that's why we check the support and resistance lines, is when something goes through them like that, that's a good indicator that it's going to continue. And I'm going to set the sell limit 25% above the purchase price, and I'm going to set an alert 25% below. So our price was $22.20. I'm going to go into the profit calculator and type $22.20 and 2 contracts. The stop is $16.65, so let's go and set that. So I call that like a soft stop. And a trade that was just exactly like this last week went ahead and went bullish and went really high. This one doesn't appear to be doing that. Okay, I am going to set this limit for 1,020. This is a live trade. I'm losing money on it right now. A lot of times trades will have a pullback. There was just a signal to buy puts. Another thing I did was I took off the labels, the buy and sell labels, because they were just distracting to me. So I kept the sound. So the sound is when a phone rings. One thing with this buy signal here, though, with the puts, if you look at that candle, it looks like a doji. And that's a period of indecision. And it's the same over there with the calls. And so for those, we have to look and wait for the next candle to see what's going to happen. But like I was saying earlier, a lot of times they will pull back. And when they pull back, then they're trying to get some more steam, and then they'll go higher. I'm going to look over here at TradingView, see what it does here. Okay, here's TradingView. And it did give a sell signal here, but it looks like a long-legged spinning top. It's the only way I can think of to describe that. Really. Okay, let's go back. Oh, it's never good when we see these dojis here with the long wicks. Not sure what's going to happen with that. The ideal place to have bought these calls would have been right here at 7:45 this morning. However, you can't buy options pre-market. At least I haven't been able to. Because this is the first green bar, when you have the red going down and then you've got the first green, that's the best place to get in. If you got in a little later, that's okay. But up here, I took a chance because I saw one last week do this, and oh boy, it's tanking. Okay. Okay, I'm going to sell it. All right, lost $17.80, but see, let's come over here and see what this one's going to do. It does look like the buyers are waiting for a lower price. Okay, so last week, the one that I'm referring to, the pattern was, while it was going up, the fact that it was above the overnight high was bullish. So when it went above the high. Then it continued to go up. This one, on the other hand, is doing something different. You never know from day to day what's going to happen, what's going on. Because things change and circumstances change. I haven't even looked on the news yet to see anything.
Move her. That could become the new.
The Chernobyl meltdown.
All right. And a bunch of Trump stuff on there. Okay, so, And I did go beyond my stop. It was 1665 and I got out at 1330, so it's a little bit of a difference there, but as soon as I saw kind of what was happening, what was going on, I just got out of it immediately, and it's continuing to go down. On the puts side of things, it's coming back up through that overnight low. And the way the awesome oscillator works best is if it starts here at the 0 line and does red, it just goes down like steps. The first green bar with a green candle is usually a good time to buy. That's not always the case, but we shall see. We get our next candle in about a minute, so we'll see kind of what happens, what goes on. Okay, in about 10 seconds, we're going to get a new candle, and that will tell a lot. Okay, came in a little below, but the real body has gone up just a tad. Now it's going below. The real body is the dark part of the candle, and when it opens above that, now it's gone below it. I was going to say, though, when it goes above that, that's a time possibly to get in. Now we do have our green bars here at the bottom, but I'm still not happy with this one. I got to see kind of where it's going. I'm not sure. got like what looks like a spinning top. As you can tell, I base decisions a lot of times on what the candles are doing. I feel like each candle tells a story if you just listen to it. And when the wick moves down, that's an indication of pulling back and weakness. Here, the wick went up. So this one I don't understand what happened, except the fact that it was what I call stale. Here you've got all this green here happening, and it's going up. Okay, so this just means that it's stale if you get into it there. And like I say, last week, this same thing happened, and it just continued to rise, go up. So when they don't do that, I got out here at the second red candle is when I got out. The first red candle is probably when I should have gotten out. And the range on that was $17.99 to $21.20. So probably the sign of the first red candle is to get out. But normally when let's see, I want to call up something so everybody can see it. Okay, this is something that I call the slingshot strategy. And before we go any further, I want to tell about the awesome oscillator a little bit. It's a technical indicator created by Bill Williams in the 1970s that is used to measure momentum. AO calculates the difference between 34-period and 5-period simple moving averages. The simple moving averages that are used are not calculated using closing price, but rather each bar's midpoints. The awesome oscillator is generally used to confirm trends and anticipate possible reversals. Okay. So starting here at the very first red bar at the top, that would be a sell signal. And then the buy signal, the most important one, is this first green candle. Not candle, I'm sorry. I'm calling them candles, they're bars. The first green bar after this string of red bars. And you could also buy at the zero line. So these are two possible places that you could buy at. And the slingshot strategy is that when you bring a slingshot, anybody that's used one, back, let's pretend that, we're holding the slingshot and we bring it back. Okay? Then it has farther to go. So think of it like, pulling back the rubber band on a slingshot. The further back it can go, the further the object is going to be thrown. So that's a way to think of that. Let's see if I have anything else that can... The awesome oscillator is like a slingshot. The more it is pulled back, the further it will travel. That is why trading on the first green bar is so important. And then I talked about the trading lifespan right here. And this is what it is, basically. Now we have gone, I just noticed something, we have gone above this previous high. And Let's see. I want to take a look at Trading View. $30.20 is a little too much for me. I'm going to get something in the 20s. 21.40. And this 22.70 here, if it gets to that, I'm going to buy that. All my conditions are met. I have a green bar on the Awesome Oscillator. And I've got a green candle. And so we want to see that trading lifespan now go this way. Ideally, and this one's is going to go up right there. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to first get this adjusted properly. It should be like in 5-second increments, or not second, 10-cent increments. And if it's in 10 or 5, that's good. I like 5. But this one is 10 cents. Okay. I come up to set my limit. $1,020. Right there. We've got another 5-minute candle coming up. I really like the Awesome Oscillator though, because it tells you exactly like where the momentum is. And right now it just turned 10 o'clock. When 10 o'clock happens, things tend to move. I don't know why that is, but that just happens. Okay, so it's rising up. About to have a break in the trend line. Let me go over to that one real quick. Okay, if you see, right here, if this does go below that trend line, that will mean that it's probably going to break out. So we will watch that just a moment. Let's go back. See where this is headed. That's good, German. So you took one at 9:48, you said. Let's see. Okay. That's good. I don't want to jinx this, so I'm going to get rid of that. They're still below the price I purchased, which is at 23. And I want it to go to 28.10. All right. Yeehaw! Let's see here. Whee! Do it again. Whee! All right. Got to have a little bit of AI. All righty. This one's now at $29.90. I sold it at $28.10. Okay, if it gets to $30.10, I'm going to buy it. Just bought 2 contracts. All right. This time, I think we're still going to hit that 1,020 mark. 1,020 seems to be the amount that I always want to make in a trade. And I think this one can definitely make it. It's getting ready on the AO to cross the 0 line. And that's usually significant. Things kind of pick up a little bit. You know, think of it as, you know, you're going up a hill. And you get to the top of the hill. And even though it's going to continue to rise up, the AO, that it's sort of like once it crosses the 0 line, it gets more steam. I don't know. It picks up a little bit. It looks like the calls are just falling out of the sky. My goal today is to end up with $1,000 because Mama's got to pay bills. So that's what I need. And we did have a break in that trend. Right here, if you'll notice, that B means break, not buy. And so here we had a break going up through the trend line, but then now a break coming down. And it's crossing this 0 line here, so I think it's going to continue to go down, which with the put means when it continues to go up, you make money. And I have my call and puts next to each other like this for that reason, is you can see them both, and you can know what's happening with both of them at the same time. So I think that's important. So that's why I like to do that. Okay, the other two charts, the SPY and the VIX, I decided that it was easier to see the prices if I had them side by side like this. And with the SPY and the VIX, I'll show everybody really quick. Let me save this first. I always save my grid. Okay. If we come look here, this looks okay, but I would much rather see it like this because the candles are bigger and I don't really feel like the SPY and the VIX did much. Looks like we're heading up. So I don't really I don't really use the SPY and the VIX much. I look occasionally at TradingView and that shows me the SPY. But I just think it's easier to see it this way than the other way. Okay, looks like we had this high here and it's pulling back some. Usually when it crosses the 0 line, it doesn't pull back like that, but I just don't like the way calls look right now. Okay, the wick has gone above the previous wick, so that's always a good sign. Excuse me. I want to do a shout out to TradeZella. They are who I use to look at my excuse me, I just had a brain fart. Look at my account. It gives information about all the stocks that you buy. It tells you your stats. It gives all the information that you'd ever need. And it's what I use for journaling trades and also for keeping track of all of my trades. And it's tied in with my broker. And so when I make a trade, it automatically feeds over into TradeZella. So if you've never tried them, it's really worth a look at because they got a fantastic platform. And it really helps to be able to look at all of your trades and to look and see what you did on a particular day or particular month. And you can see, where you went wrong and if you sold too early and that kind of thing. So I'd highly recommend it. Okay, this is the 23rd, so that should come up. And it's not. Sometimes the trades don't come over right away, so you have to sync it. Okay, that next wick is ahead of the previous wick. So it's like each wick is getting higher and higher. Okay, just waiting right now on a surge of volume. Looking on TradingView, the volume is showing at 122,000 shares, which I'd really want to see it get higher than that. Volume is very much like gas in a gas tank in a car. And if you don't have it, you're not going to go very far. So it's the same thing. We got another candle coming in a minute or so. And generally, as a rule of thumb, this is what has got to be followed to the letter. This trading plan that says trade only after the awesome oscillator is below zero and green, and there is a 5-minute green candle. So if this part of the trading plan is followed to the letter, good things are going to happen. Here I saw it do something different. It looked like it was going to pick up and continue to move up, but it didn't do that, so I got out of it. And now I'm just really hoping that I can be able to get to my $1,000 goal for today. Okay, next candle. It doesn't have a wick. Usually candles that have no wicks on them are pretty bullish. This one just turned into a spinning top. Okay, with my 30-10, let's put in now. 22.58 is the stop, so let's put that in. And that's kind of like a soft stop. I don't like that green doji though. That's, I don't know, I don't like that. Hmm. German, you saying, forget about the question. I find one who looks exactly the same. Okay. And I like the way the wicks here are continuing to go higher a little bit. That one was 3370, 3403, 3420, 3440. So those wicks continually going up from each other is a plus. Okay, got a new candle. Has no wicks on it. When you say you found one that looks exactly the same, I'm not sure what you're talking about, German. And that wick has gone a little tiny bit higher too. Let's look. 3440, 3445. Okay. So we're edging up. Does everybody like it when I throw money? I think when I make a trade and it's positive, it's good to celebrate. And I can't jump up and down in the room because, well, I'm sitting down. Oh, I think the next one, I'm going to get in a Ferrari and drive away to pick up the money. Looks like we're trying to go up. But I don't own a Ferrari. I have a Chevy Equinox that's electric. I love electric cars. They're so fabulous. This particular car, let me tell you about it. This car, you can be driving down the highway and put it on something called Super Cruise. So in doing that, you can take your hands off the steering wheel. Yes, just reach the goal. And it'll drive by itself, which is fantastic. Here we go. I'm going to get in my Ferrari. Yay, I'm going off to the bank. Let's try that again. All right. Yeah, get in that. Bye-bye. I'm going to the bank. Oh, man. This is fantastic. I now, instead of being in the hole, I now have $260. And I am going to, what's the poker term for holding? Or I guess I'm going to hold. Going to hold for a little bit because this spinning top doji looking thing right here makes me feel kind of scared that something's going to shift, something's going to change. So I'm going to hold off and keep my $260, and if I see anything that screams at me, I will take it. But right now I'm happy with what I got. I've been having so much fun with AI lately. It's just cool what you can do with it. This is my caricature that I did on ChatGPT. And I play the electric bass. This doesn't look like my bass. My bass has got natural wood here, and it's got a natural neck. But this is, when I put in information about myself, this is what came up with. Now, I have no idea why I have a stethoscope around my neck. That doesn't make any sense at all. Because I don't work in the healthcare profession. I was a teacher for 24 years. But so that's what it gave me for that. Here I am in front of my private jet. Not really. AI, I don't know. AI is just fascinating to me. I don't quite understand it completely, but I really love playing with it. I found a book that everybody might want to know about. 61. Okay. You can get it online. It's called The Ultimate Trading Playbook. Master Strategies for Charts, Patterns, and Indicators. It's very easy to read and understand. And like I say, I found it online. It's by IQ Trader in English. So IQ Trader. I guess it's in many other languages. But it's been helpful for me because it's kind of like a review of the stuff that I already really knew about the stock market. And just gives a lot of good information, I think. Okay, this one is continuing to rise because we keep having those, the lines, the wicks keep continuing to go beyond each other as it goes up. 34.70. I'm going to plot one of these. Let's see. And see if it would reach 39.80. Okay, if it hits 39.80, that would have meant that I could have gotten another 1,000. So that's an imaginary line. It's just what could have been. I do that sometimes. I see, could I have gotten more? Just to see. But like I said, when we've gotten all this movement from the very low down here, below the overnight low, and we've gone all the way up, we're getting to that point of exhaustion where the lifespan of this trade is coming to an end. And as we can see, if we can look over, well, you can't see it, both of them like I can, but when we had that first green bar and we're coming up and we've gone past the 0 line and we're going up, this is our trading lifespan. And so when we get past that, we're just going to start going down now. So this is what's so, I think this is why Bill Williams named this the awesome oscillator, because the fact that you can look at it so easy like that, it makes it awesome. And it's just like I don't know, I feel like I found the Holy Grail kind of thing, you know, and look, it's continuing to go up. So I would have gotten another 1,000, it looks like, in this. Let's see if it hits 39.80. But it's better to be safe than sorry. We don't want to, you know, overextend and then have it go back down. So that's why we're cautious when we don't. You never want to buy at the top. You want to buy at the bottom and sell at the top. And sometimes a lot goes into the fact, okay, we just hit that mark. So if I would have gotten in at that 34.70, it hit the 39.80 and I would have gotten another 1,000. Now, if it continues to go past this overnight high, which let me find out exactly what that is. 40.61. Okay. If it goes past 40.61, that's very bullish. But it might very well bounce off that, because it is like a ceiling. So think of the, 61. Here we go. Think of, you know, these as like that's the floor and then the ceiling. And so, of course, the idea of buying low and selling high, that's where that comes in, I guess. And this is the suppress indicator, is this, the dotted lines. They have a lot of lines in between that you can select, but it makes it look very messy to me to have all those lines there. I'm going to get rid of this one. That was the stop. So it could very well be that this is like a resistance point right here. And so we're going to come back down. Okay, we just went past the overnight high. So this is just continuing to be taken upward. Okay, and what I'm noticing right now is, let me see if I can get this epic pen here so I can show you something. Okay, right here, the real body on this candle has not gone through the dotted line. Now, this one, it's starting to, and once this goes beyond the dotted line, it's pretty much off to the races, because I think that's going to continue to rise. But I'd be very cautious in taking a trade because it has gone so much. And what comes up must come down. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay. Okay, and you can clearly see right there how it has gone above the overnight high. And in doing so, that is very bullish thing. And if I was trading, I would probably, let me think how I would strategize this. I'd look at the price, which is the gray box, and it's, see that big drop it took? And it's probably going to take another big drop. Yep. So I would just hold off on that. I really love looking at this active trader because you can tell not only the bids and the number of bids, but also the ask as well. And so you've got the bid price, the ask price, and then you've got the actual price. And to watch it, how it moves in between and goes ahead and behind and all this kind of stuff, it's very interesting just to watch that and nothing else, because you can learn a lot about how the the security is moving. G-Mans, yeah. I took a couple of days off just to sort of relax and take it easy. So I thought I'd come back. And right now I have got $260. Took a hit over here at calls. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do, so I got out of it. Back over here in puts, this thing has just risen completely high. As a matter of fact, I like to look and see, okay, the first price that I did was 23. Bring the profit calculator over here. So that's 23. And I had gotten 2 contracts. And so what I like to do is plug in what it has ended up at, which is 42.59. And I think it's going to go even higher than that. So 42, 59, 23 is what I got it at. 42 is what I could possibly have sold it at. And that would have been 85% profit. And it would have been an amount of $3,918. So a lot of times when you stay in something, it will turn out wonderful. And my issue and problem for a while has been selling too quick. And that comes from fear. And that's why I like to set a limit order. Because I know that when it hits that limit, I'm out and I've gotten my profit. So here we have this little tiny candle here. That tells me when I see a candle that's really compressed like that there's not much volume happening. If I look over to Trading View, it says the volume is, let's see, $1.29K. That's very low. Oh no, I'm sorry, I read the wrong one. 35K. I'd really like to see it at 100,000K to have something going on, but it's only at 37K, so. I think one thing I might add to this one is my volume. Do the same thing over here. Okay. If there is no volume, the stock car is not going anywhere. Okay, we've seemed to pick up some volume. And it's rising. It's 43.40. Okay, I'm going to say, what if I bought it at 44? Look at that. Now, being 44, I can only get one contract at that. So, because I don't really go as high, I don't go higher than $5,000 in what I'm buying on one particular stock. So, if I say 44, it's got to get to have my $1,000, it's got to go to, let me check that out. $54.20. So here's another imaginary. And as long as these candles stay green, we're good as gold. The moment that you get a red candle, that's when I would get out. Get rid of this. So doing a lot of what ifs this morning, you know, what if I had gotten in at this amount and that amount or whatever. And that just gives me something to do, to be honest with you. Once I have, you know, made the profit that I'm going to make, it gives me something to do to just set these alerts as to, you know, could I have gotten another $1,000? And in the case of this one, I could have. One thing, if we look down here at the volume, it is saying 166 and then 241 is the average. We want it to definitely go above the 50-day average. For it to move. It's kind of slowly edging up. Okay, this one's just meteoric. A meteoric rise, as they say. And of course, we're way above the VWAP. Calls is way below the VWAP. VWAP stands for volume weighted average price. And it's something that we as traders look at to see whether or not we need to stay in something or buy something. And I'm looking over here on the CNBC, and it says stocks are lower, down more than 1%. And so that's why puts is so important right now. Because when we see something like that stocks are lower, when the market's going lower, that's an indication to buy puts. If it's going higher, you buy calls. So when people ask me about calls and puts and options, the easy way to think of it to say is that if you think that a security is going to go higher, you buy calls. If you think that it's going to go lower, you buy puts, and it's that simple. Right now we're at 50. A lot of times when a price will get around round numbers like 50, 43, 23, things like that, it stays there for a little bit and then it'll move past it. So a lot of times they like to rest on whole numbers. I bought this one back when it was 23. And I just love to look and see what things, what it could have been, because that just gives me such hope and faith that the system is working and it's good. If I would have stayed in at the very beginning on this first trade that I made, I would now be at 117% profit, which would be $5,400. So I think what I'm going to do is just continue to look at this until we get a red candle. And this has gone far above usually what the price or the stock will do. It's usually by this point we're hitting a red bar in AO. So the fact that this just keeps going higher and higher and higher leads me to believe that there must be something newsworthy that's happening. Of course, we've got a lot of things in the news happening right now. And news affects the stock market and how it performs and where it goes. We're going up now to 50.17. Wow, this one looks like it just continues to go up. But sure enough, if I bought it right now, it would go down. The volume is still pretty small. It's gotten up to about 213,000 on the SPY. 215, 216. Just keeps rising. Okay, and if we take a look at the trading view, we can see we had this sell and then it's just continually gone down. And we're at a point here where we just got a green circle in the FSVZO, which is like a volume zone oscillator. So that means that it is probably going to turn around soon if we've got that. Plus we're in oversold conditions here. So we will see. But this one just looks like it's, I mean, that's another 2,000 that I could have gotten. But, you know, I'd rather like play it safe. So. Okay, we've got over on calls a green bar on AO. But it's just continuing to go down. I really don't think that means anything. Okay, it just went above my alert that I had. So right now, where it stands, I could have gotten an extra $2,000. So the green candle staying green, you need to stay in it as long as it's staying green. The moment something goes red, get out. So I kind of do that though. I look to see what I could have gotten because it just gives me so much. What's the word? What do I want to say? It really increases my confidence in my plan is what it does. Because I know that my plan is solid. So when I see it, you know, go up like that. So it increases my conviction. That's the word I'm trying to think of. And the conviction that I have that this plan is working and it will continue to work. Now we're at 58.57. This is one that I think is going to go very, very high. 59.25. I'm going to go down into something that I can afford just to kind of see. We do all. Okay. Okay. This is at 2090. 2130. It's just going up continually. I want to see where the next candle goes, and that's like in about 40 seconds. 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 Actually, I'm going to go and buy. This one I might scalp a little bit. Let's get 500 out of it. Yep, it could be a very fast sell-off if it doesn't hold. Just want to show something to everybody. Over on Trading View, we had a green circle, and that indicated that was that a turnaround was going to happen. However, the green circle has disappeared. And I haven't seen it do that before, so that means I guess it's going to continue to go down. But we shall watch and see. Got a new candle coming in about 2 minutes. I had a bad case of FOMO here. And that's why I bought this. I adjusted my strike price and had it go to 68.35, which was 22.75. So I made the strike price more at the money and more affordable for me, because I like to get 2 contracts, but I don't really want to go over 5,000. The volume is picking up. The volume average 360 and it's at 399, so it's past that. Okay. $18.90 is my soft stop. Oh. Okay, let me set it. At or below. There we go. All right, so we're looking. It looks like this low here was $18.93. Oh, and the green circle came back on TradingView. When I see this particular one, let me show you what my eyes see happening. I see something coming down like this, and then I see this going up. I don't know, ascending triangle possibly. So I'm going to get rid of that. Oh goodness, looks like we have some kind of a double top. When we have a double top, that generally means that it's going to change direction. But it's not a double top anymore because this one is going higher. The last candle just keeps pushing. I really want to see it get beyond 25.20. That's the purchase price. I hate buying at the high, but that's just how it happened. Does anybody out there, do you buy on a particular time of the 5-minute candle, at the beginning of it or toward the end of it? I'd love your thoughts on that. Seems to be hovering, the volume does, around the average, the 50-day average. Look into that just a second. So the length is 50. You can change the length and make it whatever you want it. I'm just going with the default that was in there and keeping that the same. The volume is, it gets up really high, and then we have the next candle, it drops down again. So, okay, German, you do it at the close. Okay. Some people do that, I find. Okay, we've got a new high. 25.63. Okay, so you do that in scalping. Okay, which is the 1 minute candle. Okay. I tried the 1 minute candle for a couple of days and I liked it, but it moved so fast. It was like crazy. I just want to see what this looks like in the 1 minute. Okay. So it moved along, just kept getting higher and higher and higher and higher. There we go. $25.63. The fact that we have a new high, that's a bullish thing. I like that. Every now and then I like to come over and take a look at TradingView. This is, by the way, this is something that you can get free, TradingView. You get about 3 indicators when it's free, and then if you pay $10.50 a month, they go up to, you get 5 indicators. And then you pay a higher amount and you get more. But I found that with 3 indicators, I'm fine, really. I don't need anything more than that. But I do pay the $10.50 a month to get 5. But I think I could make it on 3. This just continues to just go down, down, down. Charlie Brown. Okay. This I don't like. I feel like it's going to go down right here. Over, if you look at the call side on the left, we've got 4 green bars on AO, but there's no movement. And normally the first green bar, you have a green candle above it, but that didn't happen. And let's see, I'm looking on the CNBC and it says financials sink. Okay, we've hit the low, the soft stop. And we've got like a doji. Okay, so. All right, a minus 1260. Okay. Should have stayed out of it. Oh, let's see. The Ultimate Trading Playbook. Okay. If you go just Google that, it'll bring it up. It'll let you know how you can get it. I think I paid, I want to say like $10 for it. I'm not sure exactly. Did I hit my target today? Justin. Well, let me show you. Let's see here. Okay, I've got to see if I can remember. Give me just a minute. I started off and I had a $1,784.88 loss. So basically 1,800 loss. Then I got 1,015. And it's not coming up with my new trades. Let's see. It's kind of frustrating with TradeZella though, we'll say that, because I have to do an update sync all during the day to see all of my trades. So that's kind of frustrating. Okay. So started off, had that 1784 loss. Okay, that was calls. Then I went over to puts and I made 1,015. Then I also made another 1,015. And then I've lost 1,524. So my running total now is a loss of 1,260. I really think I'm going to be able to make that back though. So out of 4 trades, 2 wins, 2 losses. My trade win percentage since the beginning of the year is 70%. And I would have been fine if I hadn't taken this other trade here. Let me go back and let you see the trades I had earlier. Let's see, that was 68.90. Okay, taking this trade here at 23, sold at 28, 30, sold at 35. And then it got too high for me to afford. So that's when I went to 68.35 and placed the trade at 25.20, and then it was just exhausted. It couldn't go up anymore. And let me point something out, and this is something that I noticed just now as looking at this. If you look at this wick here, that wick is way too long. And I have a saying, long wicks are bad picks. So, I don't know. Maybe I bought this when the wick wasn't long. That's what I'm thinking, because just looking at this, I would have shied away from this because of that long wick. I wonder if it can let me click on it. Nope. So stay away from long wicks because they are not good. Okay. Oh, yeah, Justin, I should not have gotten into the calls because the awesome oscillator was above zero. But that happened last week, and it panned out. It worked. So from week to week, you just never know what is going to work and what's not. It depends. A lot of things depend on news and what's happening with the financial sector. So I would have been fine if I had just waited for that green bar right there in AO. Could have ridden that all the way up to the top. Let's see. I want to go back to 68.90. This one got as high as 70.42. And if I would have gotten out at the red candle right here, it'd probably be like around the 60 range. So let me plug that in. Could have made 161% profit if just stayed in with the green candles. And what I love about Heikinashi candles is they smooth everything out. If we look at the normal candle, let's see how I can get to that. Here it is, style. If you press style, you can go and change the type of candle. The candle trend, look at that. I mean, it's still, all these are green, but some are solid green, some are hollow green. So to me, that's jagged looking, and it's hard on the eyes. And so what I like to see is I like to see the Heikinashi candle because it's smoothed. This sort of looks like a inverted hanging man or shooting star or something like that. I don't know. Except it's got this little wick, piece of wick down here. If it didn't have the lower wick, I would call it a shooting star. And in that book, let me see if I can find what it says in the book about the shooting star. Okay. Okay, here it is. Let's take a look. Okay, this is in that book I was telling you about, which was called The Ultimate Trading Playbook. It says here the shooting star, which it looks like almost like this one over here in inputs. The shooting star pattern forms when a single bearish candle has a small body near the low of the candle and a long upper shadow with little or no shadow. This pattern indicates a bearish trend reversal and typically appears at the top of an uptrend. And we did have a bearish reversal. So the candles, they speak and they tell a lot of good things. And if you don't have a working knowledge of the candlesticks, I definitely would do that, because it tells, like, it gives you clues as to where the price is going. And it makes it not quite like, I hate it when people say that trading is like gambling. Because when it's done right, it's really not. When you see the candlesticks, they tell you, they speak to you, then you know what to do. You can react. When you're on a slot machine, there's nothing that you can do to that machine to make it work better or to give you money. If you tap it on the side a few times, it's not going to make you get more money. If you go on a certain day, that kind of thing, it's very, that's gambling. But to me, seeing this long string of green, that is not gambling. That's knowing exactly what's happening. Okay, and supposedly you place the stop loss above the high of the shooting star candle and exit, take profit when the price reaches a significant support level. Okay. Let's go back here. So, see, it started to go down at 11:20. Let me just see what the minute candles say 11:20 is. Okay, so that is, it opened 62.53, high, close 57. So roughly around 60, we can say. You really can't reach the exact high. That's extremely hard to do. But there is something that can help with exits, and I want to show you right now. It is something called SVE pivots. S is in Sam, V is in Victor, E is in exit, pivots. And when I put those on and apply them, this tells us that these are support lines, and it's got resistance lines, and then the pivot line. And so, that gives you an indication of places where you can, get in and out. If I had set the stop for that resistance line, 49.27, see what that would be. Okay, that would be still 114% profit. Which would be 5,254. So these resistance lines here just give you a place that you can stop on. Now see, watch this. This is coming down and it's going to bounce off of that resistance line, probably, and head back up. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm not sure, but I just feel like that it's these lines, a lot of them form support and resistance. So this might possibly get up to 82.05 on this one. Let's look at it in the last trade I made. The last trade, it was a 68.35. It's gone down some. Okay. So here it hit this, went through the pivot line and then came back down. Stocks that you buy, a brain fart. Look at my account. It gives information about all the this last trade that I made, which shouldn't have made, but I did. It'd be nice if it went up to 29.84. That's the first resistance line. 29.84. I'm going to set an alert there because I want to see if it goes up there. I love these SVE lines because they give you guidance. Whereas the overnight high and low, that's just a general thing. This is more specific and shows exactly the support, resistance, and pivot lines. Or pivot line. That's the purple one, is the pivot. Let's see. I do think that these puts are just taking a break right now. And it's going to turn around and come back up again. Actually, I'm changing this. I'm putting the alert as what I needed to have gotten 1,000. And so that would be 30.30. Which is slightly above that resistance line. Now I feel pretty confident that if the candles stay above the VWAP, that it is going to continue to go back up again. It's almost like watching paint dry sometimes. I have to be patient. It's very important. I have these little shells on my desk, and on the bigger shell, I have written inside of it the word patience. And then the smaller shell I have sitting on top of it, and that says faith. So faith deals more with your strategy, which this is an awesome oscillator strategy is what it is. Okay, so that's faith. Patience deals with waiting for the strategy to form, or either after it has formed, waiting for it to follow through. So I keep those shells right on my desk and I look at them and try to remember what they mean, and know that if you follow your strategy, you're going to come out ahead. And if you don't, you're going to lose money. But I had a loss at the beginning at 1784, and now it's 1260. So I think I can be able to make that back. There is something else that I've found. Let me put this over here. This is the chart that's in TradeZella. And I watched the 20 moving average and the 50-day moving average. The 50 is the red and the 20 is the blue. And a lot of times I have noticed that when the price goes through the 20-day, or like punctures it, that's the word I'm looking for. When the price punctures and goes through that 20-day, that's an indication it's going to head up. If it stays below that, it's probably going to go down. Let's see. Oh, okay. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We got this low volume here. And it looks like it's respecting the VWAP. So waiting to see a green bar on AO. Here's what's showing right now on TradeZella. TradeZella takes its information from TradingView, so they're very similar looking. It just towered above right here. Notice there at about 10 o'clock, it punctured that 20-day moving average. And then from then on, it just went up continually. Now, when it goes down, a lot of times we'll have something called a 50-day bounce. And so this has come down, and it's like bouncing off that 50-day. And I think that it's going to continue to go up. So we shall see what happens. If I put it over here, see if I can show my 20 and 50. Maybe there's two legs. So here's what that looks like. The 20 and the 50. I don't like to mess it up too much. A friend of mine mentioned the EMAs and the 9 and the 20. So let's look at that a minute. I had those there. Okay. Okay, so if I go in, I got the 9, got the 20, and 200. Let's take a look at that. I've got to change colors on something. The 200, I think I need to make yellow. Make it stand out. There we go. I'm going to make the 50, I think, red. Let's go into that. Or the 20. Pink. Need to all stand out. Oh, but then we've got the VWAP that's purple. Okay, let me make it a different color. Let's see. Make it green. Okay. So there we've got those lines defined right there. We've got at the top, the blue one is 9-day moving average. The green is 20-day moving average. And the yellow is 200-day. So we have come up through the 200, gone down below it. We're staying above the VWAP, and as long as we do that, I think everything's super. So it looks like we've lost steam. We're getting these little spinning tops. That means that we don't know where the market is going. But we are pretty bullish on puts today. I think that if we see the puts pass that 200-day, that's going to be very positive. Take a look at calls, though. I always start off with selecting the calls and puts at 9:35, and I did that here, and it just kind of briefly went up and then just tanked. And I'm sure that what is going on right now in the world and in the market is having a lot to do with the price. It says software falls ahead of earnings. So that's a negative thing. The 0DTE is what I trade because I like to be out of the stock by the end of the day. I don't like to keep anything overnight. So that's why 0DTE is so good for me. And also things happen pretty fast. So you can generally be in and out of something pretty quick. I keep going back and forth between the two because I'm interested to see what each of them look like. Let's see, the first one was 68.90. Let's look at that again. I'm not even going to look at calls anymore. Let's see, 68.90. So did you see what I did there? I went over and just got rid of the calls chart completely because I like to see the places that I bought. And it got kind of up here. It was a little too high for me to afford. So that's why I went to the 68.35. Now, if I put these moving averages in, and I'm looking at exponential ones. Okay, and I do 9. Then we said this one was green, 20. Okay, then I like to have gold for the 200. Okay, they're more spread out here, if you notice. And let's put in our SVE pivots. It's kind of getting crowded now, which I don't like, but I want to see these areas. Okay. Okay, just got a call to, that's funny, buy calls and buy puts. I got them both, so. I really don't think that the calls is doing anything, but I'll take a look. That was 69.05. Way down here. It's just not really moving very much at all, so I'm going to keep on with that 68.90. Okay, so Some things I'm noticing right now is the volume has gone way past the average. And now it's starting back again because we got the new candle. And if we take a look, we've got the average of being 500.7. Well, here it's 501. Then 155 is what it is. So we want it to get to the 500 range and go beyond that. We do have a green bar in the Awesome Oscillator. We've got 2 of them, so that's good. We just want this to go beyond that 200-day. I can hear my puppy Jack is being bad. I can hear in the background. So 1515 is where the 200-day is. I'm going to have to go check and see what's going on. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So we're sort of on a holding pattern right now with puts. They are, and I do have puts on both sides, so don't let that fool you. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to label them. I've gotten rid of the calls. So there's puts, and here's puts also. Those calls really aren't doing anything, so it's no point in having the screen up. I'd rather look and see everything that I've bought and puts today. Oh, okay, where do I want to be here? Drawing, that's it. Okay. Okay, so both of these screens are now puts. Because that's what I'm interested in today. Just looking very carefully to see if this pops above that. Let's make this bigger. I can do that. It says I can share it. I wonder what that. Oh, okay. Here it goes. See it a little better. We're just waiting on something to happen. That's supposedly some electronic music. Okay, enough of that. Let's try this one. I'll turn it down just a little bit so everybody can still hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. And I'll adjust it. So right now, I am concerned to see what this consolidation flatness is going to do. Let's go over here. I'm wondering if it's going to go below the VWAP or if it's going to stay and then push through that 200-day, which is the yellow line. So I want to see that. We've gone to a red bar in AO. Another indicator that is fun to watch is the Bollinger Bands. And if we look here in the trading view, we see that this has definitely gone down. And then we had a buy at 11.25. And we've come up, and this average here, and I believe it's the 20-day average. Let's see. Yep, it's a 20-day moving average. So generally what happens is when the stock will puncture, it's kind of like when the wick goes through it, it's like it punctures it like a balloon, pops it. When it goes through that 20-day, then it's going to continue to go up. If not, it'll come down and then bounce off of this standard deviation line. So what we want to see is it puncture that. So we'll just look at it for just a minute, see what it does. I'm going to turn the music up just a little bit. That was an alert to buy puts. If we look over on the 68.90, which was the first one I started buying this morning, it's got a green candle but red bar on AO. We're still waiting on the puts at 68.35 to rise up. I think we've kind of reached the lunch slowdown. I had the volume too high, but I think we've reached the lunch slowdown, excuse me, showdown. And so it's looks like it's going to be pretty slow for about another hour or so. Right now I'm removing the position summary because you really don't need it. Trading options, all the values are 0. It only shows up if you're trading stocks. So the way to keep track of your money is up top at the top of your screen. It will say your PL for the day. And let me put new. Here. Okay, that's my private loss for the day. See if I can make it bigger. Probably not. It looks like in the SPY, it looks like it's trying to go through the 20. So right here, in the 68.35 puts, the 200-day moving average, which is the yellow line, that is like a roadblock right now. If we can get above that, if we can do like about 15.20, I think things are going to start moving up. And I'm going to put something in here that says 15.10. Let's do 15.10. Because I really want to know when it goes past that 200-day. Now up above, the puts that was the 68.90, that has stayed above the 200-day. Okay, there we can see that those are both puts. Seems like that there's not much going on today. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream. Because it just doesn't look like right now there's anything happening. So I'll see you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Hopefully. If not, just know I'm someplace, but everybody have a good rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow.